Opera Cup Finals on tap. It's your main event.
From Brooklyn, New York, hot sauce, Tracy Williams.
Well, what a one-on-one debut it was for Tracy Williams here in MLW as a part of Stage 1 of the Opera Cup, a rivalry that had been across this country, but never on a stage as prestigious as this, when Tracy Williams overcame Tony Deppen to advance tonight.
So, I've heard Tracy Williams' name for quite some time, and people always put it in the breath of, he's great, he's all you gotta see this, guys. Let me tell you something, right now is the test for this young man, because A, it's under the hot lights of MLW. B, it's for the prestige of the Opera Cup. What kind of heritage and lineage of that cup? But he has to go through the man, Davey Boy Smith, to win it.
And his opponent, from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, weighing in at 265 pounds, being led down the aisle by Mr. Saint Laurent, Davey Boy Smith Jr.
As you see Davey Boy Smith Jr. looking at the Opera Cup that for so many years was housed in the Hart household. The Opera Cup dating back to the late 1800s, defended coast to coast across the country in opera houses throughout America. The trophy itself dating back to 1915, won by Stu Hart, the final winner in the late 1940s, and Stu Hart had it ever since, and it was some 70 plus years later that Davey Boy Smith Jr. brought the Opera Cup back, reactivated it here in MLW, and became its first champion in 2019.
I've maintained for quite some time that Davey Boy Smith Jr. is the toughest guy I know. Now, Davey Boy with an edge? Come on.
And listen, now that we've talked about the prestige of the Opera Cup, the importance of the Opera Cup, how disgusting was Davey Boy Smith Jr. with Michael, man?
Not at all. Not at all disgusting. I don't throw those words around like you do, Mr. Indignant Wrestling Announcer. Okay. Davey Boy and MSL did exactly what they needed to do. And now, here it is. Here it is. You've been saying for months, oh, the Opera Cup, the Hart family legacy. Now you change your tune all of a sudden?
Matt, I'm sorry that I'm passionate. I'm sorry that I care. But what does hunting Michael, man, have to do with the Opera Cup?
But I get it. But how do you go from 0 to 60? How do you go from loving the guy a couple of weeks ago to now he's despicable?
You don't think he's changed at all in the past few weeks?
Sure, change is good.
Really, every time. There's no exceptions.
Yes, change is good.
You're changing by the weeks out here. Tracy Williams, certainly outsized by Davey Boy Smith Jr. He's about 6'5", 265. I want to notice also the tape on the knee, the bandage on the knee of Davey Boy Smith Jr. That's from his Stage 1 matchup where Davey Boy was victorious over Calvin Tankman, but certainly it seems at a price.
Davey knows it. Hot Sauce knows it. I don't think that's going to stop Davey Boy in any way, shape, or form. But the problem is that Tracy may be too quick. That's the issue with Davey Boy. He's a big boy, don't get me wrong. Strong as a house. Not the fastest guy around. I've wrestled him. Trust me, I know.
Two athletes that can be described by many, I would think, as wrestlers. Certainly two men who have mastered the art in so many different ways.
But from a strategy point of view, you bring up interesting thing there about the knee. If the speed is Tracy's advantage and Davey Boy is compromised, is Davey at a disadvantage?
Well, Tracy takes out the legs.
He's trying to go for a knee bar, but you're not going to get Davey on that. Sorry, pal. No freaking way. He knows what he's doing. You're not catching him in a submission like that.
Well,
Tracy's not giving up, though. This is good.
Sent MSL scurrying. And Tracy unloads the knife edge chop.
Look at how Tracy moves Davey Boy's body, clutching to the head and the shoulder.
Oh! Davey Boy's power found him an escape. Will it lead him to his second Opera Cup? MLW Fusion Opera Cup Finals continue. And I think, we talk about that knee issue, and we talked about it a little bit at the Tankman match as well. If Davey doesn't have full use of that knee, it's going to impact, not just the power on his feet, but also some of the leverage and the base in his catch wrestling game on the ground.
But you notice he's changed his gear, right? The denim is going to give you just a little bit more support. I understand it's a new look, it's a new Davey Boy Smith Jr., and it's an homage to Brett and Brian Pillman. I get all that. But the denim also works as almost like that copper fit kind of thing, tightens up the knee.
And not only that, you mentioned Brett and Brian Pillman, but shades of his dad during probably one of the most ruthless eras of his career in the late 90s.
It's all part of a greater look for the entire family. So that's the look, though. When you mention Davey Boy, I think you go back to 2001. I think that's that Calgary Canadian lumberjack kind of look. So it's the reference to his dad. It's a reference to his whole entire family, all that road work. Denim used to be worn by, do you know, butchers and undertakers. It would be covered in blood. Then it went to the miners and all that. So we're giving it in the history of denim here. But to the point, Davey Boy Smith is channeling his past and forging his future. Well,
both athletes looking to pick an ankle there, but it's Davey Boy. Talk about that homage to the family. Look at sharpshooter, but the knee gave out.
Here we go. Tracy needs to become a jerk, to be honest with you. Tracy needs to take on Davey Boy's persona and mentality here and just be vicious.
Well, we know Tracy's got a bit of a bad temperament. That's where his nickname Hot Sauce comes from. And it speaks to the fact that Tracy sometimes slips under the radar. He's such a great mat wrestler. Doesn't really bring the sizzle of a lot of other guys. And sometimes that means that he doesn't get the headlines and the publicity. And Tracy looks at some of the other buzzworthy athletes and maybe resents it a little bit because maybe he's put in a little more work in the gym.
It's a great point. It really is. It's the day and age in which we live. Everyone's looking at this guy, and you don't see all the other people doing the good things. But at the end of the day, you can't be great when you're in the same era as Davey Boy Smith Jr.
And shades of Uncle Owen with the enziguri kick by Davey Boy Smith Jr. And could be a chance for both men to attempt to rally here. Who gets to their feet first will have a decided advantage. I see MSL on the outside. I'm so disappointed. Not surprised, but disappointed in MSL. He proved himself to be a carny.
Oh, my God. Disappointed in someone that's trying to enrich themselves. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Society is mad at everyone doing better than they are.
Throw somebody out like they're garbage and find a new shiny toy. That's all MSL does.
There's a reason why MLW has evicted MSL from his official duties in the office. But honestly, I think that frees MSL up to do more entrepreneurial endeavors.
Yeah, to shyster more people is what you're trying to say.
Spell shyster.
Davey Boy. There's a C in it. There's a backslide, and Tracy Williams, look out. Tracy Williams, keep in mind, trained by Claudio Castagnoli, so check out that attempt at a single leg.
Look at the block. Look at the block. Yeah. But that block forced Davey Boy Smith Jr. to hyperextend his leg to straighten it out.
And Tracy got him that time. Nice.
High up on the hamstring was Tracy.
And a high landing right around the back of the neck for Davey Boy. Tracy has had MLW in his sights for years. He used to attend MLW events in Brooklyn once upon a time back in 2003 and watch Satoshi Kojima defend the MLW world title. Could be a full circle moment to win the Opera Cup tonight. Nicely done, side Russian leg sweep.
Maintaining control of the arm. And you notice what Davey Boy did there is he took his shoulders off the mat, exposed his back and neck. Tracy has to force it now, and now Tracy's going for a submission hold. That's really good. The pinfall wasn't there. Instead, Tracy didn't panic, went right for a submission hold.
Variation of a Manjigatami by Tracy Williams.
And what about Davey Boy's knee?
Yeah. Well, Tracy's focusing in on that neck after that high angle suplex, and now chops his shoulders.
Nice and tight. Normally you don't see people cross their legs on the crucifix. Tracy was smart to touch both his knees.
And Tracy has not had luck with the suplex earlier, and much the same.
That's basic physics, right?
And Striker, you gotta believe that takes away one of Tracy's most impactful maneuvers, the Tony Deppen felt, the pile driver.
You're 100% right, but if you live by the fastball, you die by the fastball. If you don't have a secondary push, you won't be in the league long.
Davey with that huge leg.
How do you not just love Davey Boy Smith Jr.? You love pro wrestling.
I was a huge Davey Boy fan up until a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, up until he did one thing that I didn't like, and now I'm outraged.
The Microman's outraged. Nice guillotine leg drop. And Davey on top.
2.
No.
Ref.
Keep in mind it was Davey Boy who defeated Low-Key, Hammerstone, Brian Pillman Jr. to be the inaugural MLW era winner of the Opera Cup in 2019.
Just that alone should put, I mean, how do you not say that this is not one of the best of our generation?
I mean, Davey was the one that liberated the cup after it had been stolen last year. He's done so much good, but I feel like he's tarnishing their reputation with who he's got at ringside. But it's Tracy Williams right now that's the story. Trying to rally, but Davey splits the distance.
One thing I was always taught when you're in there with those shooters, those catch guys, is you got to test the chin. They may be able to out-wrestle you, but you can knock them out.
And the Bulldog power slam, but Davey came down on the bad knee. What damage did Davey do to his own anatomy? It's impeding his ability to follow through. Now the cover. Opera Cup at stake. No.
Tracy had no other choice there, man. There you go.
Double hook on the leg.
Come on.
Good count.
Come on.
It's almost a point where Davey Boy's force and power was a disadvantage, launching him so far near the ropes and then landing so hard on his own knee.
Now, I don't think we're going to see a finesse Davey Boy Smith Jr.
Kicking the legs is Tracy Williams.
Changing the weight. That's smart, the weight and the speed. We talked about the speed of Tracy. Rolled through, couldn't get into the Fujiwara. Instead, here's the ankle lock.
And the ankle lock on the bad leg. That part of the body's already compromised higher up around the knee.
And Davey leg is throbbing right now.
He is not tapping yet.
No way. No way.
He's reaching for, and look at MSL's pulling the rope closer.
There's a part of Davey Boy that won't go to the ropes either. There's still that catch pride.
Oh, that's power slam.
Yeah. Get him.
Into the cover.
No.
Gotta know. And we've talked about the fact that Davey studied under the likes of the late great Billy Robinson and Josh Barnett, some of the greatest catch wrestlers this sport has ever known. Power bomb.
Davey Boy knocked.
Sit out style.
It's over. Is that over? Is that it? Is this kid out? Was there a shoulder up there? Look, even Davey Boy. I've been hit with that power bomb. He's knocked me out with that power bomb.
And Davey transitioned to the crossface. And this is how Davey defeated Brian Pillman Jr. in 2019.
Davey stayed poised. He did. He earned this.
The winner of the 2023 Opera Cup, Davey Boy Smith Jr.
Davey Boy, a fighter, a competitor, a wrestler since the age of 10. It was in his blood, in his genes from birth, and from Grandpa Stu some 71 plus years ago to Davey Boy Smith Jr. now, the only two-time Opera Cup winner of this era. Our Bet Online replay shows you some of the power maneuvers that led Davey Boy Smith Jr. to making history, his second Opera Cup championship victory. MSL signing Davey Boy Smith Jr. certainly paying dividends. I think Davey Boy Smith Jr. could have done it without that leech, who's no doubt going to get a percentage of these winnings without earning it.
The Enterprise.
And there you see the moment.
You know what, Joe? Stand up and clap. Why are you so darn disrespectful?
I'm not disrespectful. I just congratulated him. It's going back into the Hart family, where it was for over 7 decades, and it's been away for the past 3-4 years.
Yes, don't we celebrate that? Don't we honor that, Joseph?